Hey, welcome to the Disha series. And before you listen to the podcast, I would like you to like and subscribe and obviously comment. This is on YouTube, and those of you watching it for the future, this is about mental health. By the way, I must tell you about Mentors for Kids before I go any further. Mentors for Kids is for finance and BCom students. I always throw up this number. There's 6 million graduates every year in our field, but only about 1 lakh or 100,000 kids get proper employment, or they know a career path. Most of us don't understand what it means to have a BCom degree and succeed. So that's the intention of Mentors for Kids. It's brought to you by BCL India. Obviously, it's brought to you by Pawan Sharma and Vishal Krishna. I'm Vishal Krishna, for those of you who didn't know me. And today I have my special guest, and this session is close to my heart because all of us go after a career without taking care of our thoughts. Okay, I've got Mrs. Vedha Bharati. Vedha Bharati is here, and she's the founder of Zensible. And Zensible is a great play of words. Sensible, Zensible. That's the play of words, isn't it, Vedha?
So being in your Zen and being sensible about your mental health together. Zen means at your optimal state, being calm and achieving that. So that's what created Zensible.
Beautiful. And you come from a tech background.
Yes.
But you got into psychology because it's the need of the hour. Let's start with why get into this kind of an industry. I have my reasons and thoughts. I'll ask you that in a bit. But for kids, I mean, a lot of the kids want to know, okay, why would we heard all these stories on BCom and everything else? Why would we have a mental health session today? But it's important to have this session. Life is hard. We all know that. But why would you get into mental health from tech?
Okay.
We start there. That's a good primer.
Yeah, that's a good primer. Very, very, very important of where we are coming from and where we are going. That is important to know. So as part of my tech career in my last organization, I was more people facing. So a lot of people would come to me, teams would come to me and say, you know what, I can't focus on my work. I want to do it, but I'm not able to. I don't know what is going on with me. I'm not able to work with this person because this person and I are not communicating well together. I'm not able to tell my manager what I feel because I worry how they will judge me back. Right? So I used to counsel them, tell them, hey, try this, write it down, take it one step at a time. So it really made me feel very happy when I did that and it worked for them. And that was through only my lived experiences, from my experiences. And I want to make sure I help people better. And that's why I got into from tech into mental health. Properly, I am studying so I can help people.
Tell me what mental health means in terms of, that's something that they have to know, right? The term mental health may be new to many of the kids watching this. I'm sure that for us, mental health means being around parents and their, right? Mental health means much more. It's a need of the hour in societies that are job driven, like America. They have focused on mental health in it's a science, and they help individuals figure out how to be powerful, right? It is something that is structured, where you take your unstructured thoughts and make it powerful, and you don't have to feel depressed or anything of that sort. That is my understanding, but you have to tell me, what does that term mean?
Okay, so it's a very good question, but before I answer that, Vishal, I'm going to ask you, when it comes to good eyesight, what does that mean to you? What does having a good eyesight mean to you?
It means I can look further. It means that I have an understanding of the different colors and interactions that happen. But interactions are not just eyesight. I see, and therefore it's not as if I believe, but I also have other things. It's one part of my entire journey. That's how I look at eyesight.
So for you to look at everything around you, for you to make sure that you are reading properly, you are looking at a laptop properly, you need to keep your eyes at optimum health,
Correct.
right?
Correct.
If you have any sort of eye burning
Yes.
or tiredness in your eye, okay, you know what, I can't look at the screen anymore because my eyes are tired,
Correct.
right? My eyes are burning because I have been awake for so long, so my eyes are burning. And if there is any pain, you know that you have to go and check it out with a doctor.
Correct.
If your eyes are continuously burning, you know that you go and check it out with a doctor. Okay?
Correct.
Your mental health is the same way. Your mind is what is doing a lot of thinking, talking, walking, studying, thinking about your career, crunching numbers. Everything is being done by your mind.
Correct.
Right? Just like your eyes, your mind gets tired, right? How do you know that your mind is getting tired? You may be feeling tired all through your body sometimes, but it actually does not mean that you are physically tired. It could actually be your mind is tired, which is therefore affecting your physical health as well. So identifying how your mind is getting affected by what you are doing, how much you are doing, what you are not doing. For example, if you're not resting your mind enough, just like how you rest your eyes, how do you identify that? Okay, so that is what is mental health, and when to actually go talk to your mentors like yourself, when to go talk to your friends, when to actually ask for help. So that is what is mental health, so that whatever you do in your life that uses your mind, you are doing it right and you are giving it the sufficient rest that it needs.
Absolutely. This is where I want to ask you the question, physical health versus mental health. A lot of people don't realize that mental health is all your burning energy, and therefore it can affect your physical health. So therefore taking care of your mental health is very important, because you're getting into the real world. It burns more energy than your exercise. The mind actually consumes a lot of energy. Correct? Isn't that correct?
That is absolutely true. And I'll give you an example, right? And this is an example that is currently happening in my family.
Correct.
My son is doing his board exams. So every time he has poor posture, I completely agree. He is always slouching, sitting like this, sitting like that, not in one position. But he does not get neck pain, shoulder pain, nothing. But come exams, every year, exams will come, and then he will have suddenly neck pain. Sudden neck pain that he will not even be able to move his neck.
That's the stress, isn't it?
That is the stress.
It's mental stress.
Your mental stress, you take it on your muscles. Your muscles take the stress, especially your neck and shoulder muscles.
Yes.
A lot of people don't realize that when I suddenly get neck or shoulder pain, when I suddenly get a headache, people are able to correlate. Maybe I'm too stressed and that is why I'm getting a headache. But neck pains are also like that. Back aches, sore body, that is also a symptom of mental stress as well.
This is phenomenal. So most of the time these students, you're right, towards their exams or getting to a job interview, they start getting stressed out and they have shoulder pain, neck pain. It's all related to the mental health, right? So how do they take care of it? I want to go there. How do you ensure that, okay, you can go and share it with a friend? We'll probably say go get a massage from the barber or some beauty parlor or something of that sort. How do you actually tell yourself that this is related to mind? How do students know that it's related to that exam stress, or it's because of some stress about society saying how much marks will this person get or that person get, or will I clear this interview? How do they know that it's mental?
Okay.
Because you know what I'm saying. You perceive you know, but you don't know. It's playing in your mind subconsciously. That's the reason I want to ask.
Yeah, that's a very good question.
Thank you.
Now, let me direct that question in a different way to you.
Yes, please.
How did you feel? If I have to ask you, how did you feel about today? What did you feel today?
Yeah, I felt tired in the morning and very stressed because of the weather maybe. And I have to sleep under the AC because I don't like air conditioning, but that's stress too. My wife likes it, I'm sorry. But she likes it anyway. But yeah, I was tired, and also because I exercise and then I have to meet multiple people, so the mind is always thinking. So it's not, even now I'm thinking, what should I ask her next? I'm thinking back on my experience of the past, and I'm trying to formulate questions. So I'm constantly tired in the morning, for sure. That's how I feel. When I wake up today, I say, hey, I'm tired, I need a break. I feel that way.
Yeah. So noticing that is your first step to identifying your mental health, right? So when you wake up in the morning, before you take your phones and start scrolling on Instagram, think about, have I slept well?
Yes.
What are the thoughts that woke me up at night? Did any thoughts wake me up at night? Did I dream of something?
Yeah. And am I living that dream? People do, right? That's true.
Yes.
That takes your energy out too.
Exactly.
True.
Exactly. Whenever I have a problem, sometimes the solution comes to me in my dream, because my mind is always thinking about it. So when you wake up in the morning, you ask yourself, how do I feel about my sleep? And what do I look forward to today? Am I dreading anything? You said that when you woke up today morning, you were tired.
Yes.
Did you think about, why am I feeling tired? Am I feeling tired because I did not sleep well? Or am I feeling tired because I don't want to go through the day? Today I have this podcast with this really boring lady, which I don't want to do. I don't want to do this at all. And now my brain is already tired. So connecting with your feelings of what you're feeling and identifying that and connecting it with why you're feeling it.
Yeah.
There is something called as emotion wheel. You can go and Google
Absolutely.
it.
For me, it's not the podcast, it's a lack of sleep for sure. I'm enjoying the podcast actually. This is like a mental health session for me, and a free one at that. So I'm going to use it to the best to get better. So there is a mental flywheel you're talking about. What is it called?
So it's called the emotion wheel. So we have our vocabulary says, I'm happy, I'm sad, I'm angry, I'm fearful, sometimes I'm tired. But there is more to it than that, okay? So it will not be easy for you to start identifying it straight away. But keep the emotion wheel, like when you wake up or when you go to bed, keep the emotion wheel and take a look at it and see, what am I feeling today and why I am feeling that.
Okay, I just want to tell the students here, if you are watching this, I know you're all studying. Let me put myself in their shoes. I'm studying. I've got the teacher to make that person happy. I've got my parents to make them happy. Then I've got all my friends who've got phones, who've got these shows that they watch. Do I discuss that? So there's lots happening in my head. So I have to figure out what's me or all that. Correct, right? So being tired is just part of it.
Yeah.
Being happy is also just part of it. Yeah. But you're saying you've got to really figure out where you start, right? Okay, and that's tough. It's not easy for everyone.
It is not easy, and it is something that you start off slowly. It is something that you start off slowly, and once you make it a habit, you'll be able to understand. You know what? I have been tired. So you said that today morning you felt tired.
Yes.
But did you know how many days this week have you been tired?
Yeah.
How many days this month have you been tired? We don't keep a track of that.
Yeah, we don't keep a track of that.
You can't really say that you need to take a break if you are only tired one day. It could be because of many different things, and you may not be able to take that break today. You are forced to come and talk to me today. You can't take the break. But have I been continuously tired?
That's well said,
Have I been continuously, not just tired. Tiredness is one factor. Sometimes it can even show up as anger. You have been with your friends for so long, and suddenly everything they say makes you angry for whatever reason. Your parents, they just come and wake you up and you are already angry, right? Sometimes it can show up as you don't even want to get up from bed. I'm too tired. I don't want to get up from bed. I want to procrastinate. I don't want to study. I don't want to study. I don't want to study. So knowing that pattern, why am I suddenly so angry? Why am I suddenly not interested in doing things that I actually like doing? Why am I withdrawn? Why don't I want to hang out with my friends anymore? So monitoring that and seeing a pattern change,
all right,
and how long has there been this pattern change, that will help you identify, what, I think I need to do something. I need to get a break. I need to rewire. I need to talk to someone. So that is how you identify that.
This is amazing, right? I mean, because this is like you're saying, this is the first step to figuring out your mental state, or in the mobile world, either your status, your mind status at this point in time. I want to know, see, there's a feeling of anxiety, being overwhelmed. And this is part of the question that our friend Alka has also asked, right? We think that everything will normalize and will pass very fast, but it continues, like you said, anger, for example. How does this recognition is one part? You recognize it by doing this flywheel, emotional flywheel, like you said. But how does a student, do they go discuss this once they recognize it?
So there are different things that they can do. Okay. For one, if they identify that this is not, they are having the strong feelings, or they are pulling themselves back, right? There are various things that they can do. One is try to identify what is causing this. This is exam time. Maybe the exam stress is causing it. Okay. So what can I do? Am I being too hard on myself? Okay. Am I putting too much pressure on myself? Why am I putting pressure on myself? Is there something I can do? Let me tell you an example, right?
Please.
When I was in college, right? Which was long ago. I studied, my way of studying was, I had a study group.
Okay.
And I would be with the study group. I had one best friend who we will study together. And that used to help me recall everything during exam. So I had this mental block that if I studied with her, I'll be able to go do my exams better. Okay. One day she says, you know what, I can't be there, I can't study. I panic, and I panic so badly that my fingers start shaking. I can't take a breath. And I'm not able to, I'm about to faint. They had to rush me to hospital. Okay.
Did that happen to you?
That really happened. So I was in college in Coimbatore, and I was in the hostel. They had to rush me to the hospital. There was no mental health knowledge at that time. My parents had to come. They were in the hospital. It was a very small village. Nobody knew that what I had was an anxiety attack. Now I know. Then nobody knew. So, and then they kept me for a night, and then they sent me back. So today when I think about it, I can really identify that I told myself that the only way I'm going to do well in exams is if I did 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 things, right? But if I had paused to ask myself, do I really have to study with my friend? What exactly is that process giving me? The process is giving me feedback that, yes, I have studied. Yes, I have focused. She asks me questions, I'm able to respond back. Can I do that with some other way? Okay. So whenever you are going into yourself that this is too hard, I can't do this, I can't do this, I can't do this, you question yourself. That is the first step. Is it really true? Okay. If it was my friend telling me this, what will I tell them back? Okay. If my friend comes and tells me, dude, I am going to fail in the exam, your response will be, hey, you will not. You are answering all the questions. So sometimes it's very difficult to tell that to yourself. So that is when you reach out to your friends and start very small. Don't say, oh, it is so overwhelming. I have this, and this problem. Okay, start small. I'm not able to sleep. I'm tensed. Okay, so then your friend will tell you, you know what? Yes, I have noticed you being very tense. Do this. Okay,
this is interesting.
So the third party perspective, what you're not able to tell yourself, you will be able to get it from other people.
Great.
Okay, so try yourself. If not, reach out to your friend. And if that is also not helping, then reach out to a trusted person and ask them what they will do.
That's a great way to start, right? And it's okay even if that person doesn't understand why it happened. You've just shared it. It puts you in a vulnerable spot, but that's okay.
If you don't want to do that, there is an alternative. The third party perspective is what is important here, right? When you are telling yourself, you are being too judgmental on yourself.
Correct.
Right? So the other way, if you don't want to talk to somebody, is to write it down.
Yeah.
So you can write it down, and then once you start writing, you will realize. So when I start writing, I had to study with my friend, otherwise I was going to fail, right? When I read it back, it would sound like, is it really true?
True, yeah.
Okay. And if you don't want to write it, people don't write it anymore. People don't write things anymore. You can record yourself.
Yeah.
Record yourself and think of it as your friend saying it back to you. Or stand in front of your mirror and say your deepest fears.
It's interesting. You can record, you can write, you can tell friends, you can keep it private. Yeah. But it's good to share sometimes. Yes. But it's vulnerability is something I want to ask you about. And does it expose yourself? As you get older, we are in the corporate world. I want to discuss that. You know how I handled it? I'd let failure come to me. I mean, I'd rather fail and then let the whole world know and then rise again.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, for example, in the 8th standard, I knew there were 5 Vishals in my class. Everybody it was mathematics, and the teachers were coming and saying, oh, many people have failed, and all the Vishals were really afraid that, oh, which Vishal failed. I knew I'd failed even before anyone. Not just failed, I know I scored a 0. And all these guys are running around trying to influence the teacher to get the paper out first so that she doesn't announce it. So I let catharsis happen that way. You know what I'm saying? Feeling of catharsis.
Yes.
Right? You let it happen and you go through with it because the whole world knows anyway and you don't care. It's fine. Yeah. But that's how I coped with the mechanism. But you got to be really strong for it because the after effects are the world does make fun of you. The world looks at you in a different way. What they don't know is you're slowly building yourself behind without them knowing. I'm building up a foundation. They were so surprised that I scored the highest marks later on. So I like surprising people like that. There's some questions. So let's get it going. For those of you on YouTube, I'm going to do it a little differently because the students' questions are here, okay? So I'm going to read it out for you guys. So Deepthi has a first question, okay? How do we recognize when we need professional help for our mental health? This is from Deepthi. She's from a rural school somewhere in the north of Karnataka, the northwestern part of Karnataka. What do you think? How do you recognize that there is a mental health problem?
Yeah. So, like I said, the thing is about identifying patterns. How long has it sustained? If you have, I'm going to go back to my eye example, right? If you have burning in your eyes, you let it one day. You sleep for a day and then you see whether
time.
Give it time. Give it time. If that doesn't help, then next day you see whether you can you feel better. Otherwise, you go and check with a doctor. The same happens for your mental health as well.
Correct.
If you are feeling angry, if you are feeling continuously tired, if you are feeling differently than what you normally feel, let it go for a couple of days. Try to give yourself a break, be kind to yourself, do the things that I mentioned, which is writing a letter, talking to yourself, give yourself a break. The next thing to do is to ask your friend. None of that works, give it at least 2 weeks.
Yeah.
If it continues, then it's time for you to reach out for help. If things doesn't change, then it's time to reach out for help. It can be with a therapist, or it can be with another trusted individual who will tell you, okay, you know what, try this. If that doesn't work, then you reach out for help. And in this day and age, you can reach out for help online as well. You don't need.
It's private. You don't have to have anybody.
Yeah, you can just try and find somebody who gives online therapy. There are a lot of people who also do pro bono therapy, which is free, especially for students. So I can give you some links of where.
We'll put it in the description. We'll have you also do a session for the students, right?
Yeah.
So those are some of the ways. There's another incident I want to share with your mental health. Again, all through college, because I was a very diligent student, but people wouldn't recognize it because I wouldn't show off, okay? There was a time this is college, I forget school now, I'm in college. And I knew I scored 0 in accounts. So the teacher announced saying, hey,
You are going to say I scored 0 and then you are going to say I got very
I'll tell you how I managed. Because it's all mental health, right? I'll tell you how. So there is a mental health aspect. So there is this judgment that happens. Everyone's judging you. So this teacher goes to class and he says, you know, Mr. Vishal Krishna, ನೀವು ಕ್ರಿಕೆಟ್ ಆಡ್ತೀರಾ ಮೀನ್ಸ್ you're playing cricket, ನೀವು ಕ್ರಿಕೆಟ್ ಆಡ್ತೀರಾ ಮೊನ್ನೆ ಕ್ರಿಕೆಟಲ್ಲಿ ಕೂಡ ಕಾಲೇಜ್ಗೆ 0 ಹೊಡೆದ್ರಿ ಇವತ್ತು ಕ್ಲಾಸಲ್ಲಿ ಕೂಡ 0 and he did this in front of everyone. Okay. And I said, okay, fine, it's fine. And how did I handle it? A lot of people were laughing. It was good. I let the laughter be a therapy.
Yeah.
That means it's over, fine. But it was insulting, because he had to make an announcement. And especially in that age, you have women, girls that you want to impress, and you say, okay, that's happened. But then what I did was, I would, like the group thing that you did, I brought in the best students to come to my house, sit with me, and I started diligently studying. And of course, I scored high later on. That's how you do it.
Yeah.
But there was a mental health thing. The intervention could have been better. Maybe the teacher could have taken me to the side. But those days in our time, they would say, you scored 0, you're finished.
Yeah, correct.
They would not give you a chance.
Correct.
And that is the problem, isn't it?
Yeah, that is correct. So you are absolutely right. What you thought
Yes.
was, I got a 0. What changed? What happened?
Nothing happened.
Yeah. So that is called, you can Google it. It's called Socratic questioning.
Socratic questioning. Okay.
Yeah. So basically, you take your negative thoughts.
Yes.
Oh my God, I have gotten 0, and you turn it around and say, so now that I have gotten 0, what's the worst that could happen? What happened? Did my life end?
Yeah.
No. Did rocket not launch? No.
Yes.
Okay. Did the world stop spinning?
Yes.
No. Can I take this as a lesson
Yes.
and change it? Maybe. Will I learn from it? Do I want to change it? The question that you asked yourself was, do I want to change
Yes.
this? Right? So that
You want to change the outcome. Yes.
Yes.
Correct.
So that is the question that you ask yourself. So that is how you change it. In those days, there was not
Nothing.
a lot of it.
Nothing.
You knew
Yeah.
it all.
You have to
on
do
your-
it yourself.
Yeah, you have to do it yourself. Now you have help. You reach out for
So
help.
there's online help. She said, Deepthi is asking, how do you know that you have a mental health issue also is one thing, right? So that's how the starting point is the emotional flywheel.
Yeah.
Did I wake up today? You create a notebook saying, okay, did I wake up tired? Am I happy today? Do you say do that?
So I am a little.
Would you say don't do it?
No. I'm a little pedantic about
Okay.
it. So I plan my day.
Okay.
So when I wake up, I say what is the one goal that I want to achieve
Okay.
today. So I will keep that. Okay. So this is one thing. For example, today I need to make sure I am there for this podcast.
Yes.
Okay. And I want to make sure I give good information. So that is my one goal.
Correct.
So from there I start what research can I do?
Correct.
So between today I have like 10 meetings. Do I have time to do some research for
Yeah.
this podcast? So I slot that
consciously
in.
put your
so
thoughts.
I put that. At the end of the day, I go back and check, have I done the goal? If I have done it, how do I feel? Oh my God, I managed to do this one thing today. So I feel grateful.
Yes.
I am thankful that I was able to do
Yeah.
that. And then how did that make me feel? So I note it down. I am a little pedantic. It
Why
takes a lot of practice for you to do that, and I'm not suggesting that any of you do that,
Yes.
right? You start off slow. You start off by saying, how am I feeling today? What do I want to achieve? There's one more thing that really helps people, especially people who are feeling very down. Okay, what is one thing I am thankful for today?
Yeah.
Right. Today I am thankful that this room has AC and I don't have to sweat. Okay,
That's a good way of putting it. So
that
you
is-
be thankful for what is there in front of you.
Yeah, maybe I was in the heat for 10 hours, but I had 10 minutes of AC time which felt like bliss.
Yeah.
Find that one small thing. You will be able to find one thing that you are thankful for. I'm thankful that I have a home
Yeah.
to sleep in. Right?
Yeah.
Find that one thing. Then you will see that
Changes.
perspective.
Find these small things that make you happy.
Yeah, your perspective changes with that.
That's interesting. So let's ask more. There's more questions, okay? And I'm glad the girls are asking this question from rural towns. Okay, what impact does social media have on mental health, especially among teenagers and young adults? Great question. I've been saying this, that even, it's not just you, Fatima, even 25-year-olds, 35-year-olds, 45-year-olds, 55-year-olds, I parked my car and I was coming down and I saw two old people who probably loved each other all their life, and now that one is sitting there, one is sitting here, they're not looking at each other, they're looking like this. And I'm sure they're on YouTube. It's good. You people watching on YouTube, watch. But I'm just saying, our question is amazing. What impact does social media have on this doom scrolling and everything? How does it affect their mental health? Great question.
Yeah, there are multiple things in multiple ways in which social media has an impact on your mental health.
Correct.
Right? So the first one is when you are seeing somebody's post. I'm looking at your post, Vishal.
Yes.
You are only posting about all the high marks that you got.
Yeah.
Today I got 100.
I got 0, but then I go high later.
No. You never post about when you get 0.
Yeah, that's there.
Yeah.
But those days there was no social media because everything was made public. But anyway, you're right. Go on. I agree with what you're saying. These days, kids will only post what they're good at.
Yeah.
They will never expose their negativity. It's like building a CV. My social media CV, everything is beautiful, perfect. I understand where you're going.
And
If I was their age, I would have done that.
Yes. Is there any picture that is posted on social media without filters? No. Everything is filtered. It's not reality. You are always looking at it through a mirror.
Yeah.
But when you're scrolling, all you're thinking is, oh my God, look at that new dress this person has.
Yeah.
Okay, look at the vacation that they have gone on. What a wonderful
There's peer
vacation.
pressure.
Yes. So once you
Or they went to the vacation in that car, that plane.
Yeah, exactly. So what we don't realize is that is one snapshot of their life.
Wow.
What actually happened before like you said, the husband and wife are both on phone, but then they take a pause and take a picture as if they are enjoying the beauty, and then they are back on the phone looking at scrolling on social media again. You don't see what happens behind the
scenes.
posts. Right?
Yeah, it's like removing a mask almost. Yes, you should take away the mask.
The peer pressure, the mask, thinking that everything is fine and dandy in their life and not in our life.
That's the worst thing that you could do,
And one more thing is, social media are driven by algorithms. If you are, looking at, let's say, people studying BCom, okay, people are talking about preparing for exams, and they are saying, today I studied 10 hours. So you're going to get posts about other people studying 10 hours, 18 hours, other people getting good marks, right? So the algorithm is driven to give you content that you have paused and looked at. And therefore, you are in that echo chamber where the same thing keeps repeating over and over again. So that also has an impact on mental health.
It is terrible.
Yeah. And you forget, so far we have only spoken about viewing other people's social media.
Yes.
Now, when you post something, you are constantly looking, is there a like? Is there a like? Who has seen it?
Yeah.
Why is there only 4 likes in mine?
Said. Oh, why is there only 400 impressions on this channel?
Yeah.
For example, there is an anxiety.
Yeah.
It's strange. I want to ask you more. I'll tell you, musicians also suffer from this. Why haven't many people listened to my song? That's crazy, isn't it?
Yeah. And
they should be enjoying their art, but they're worried about why haven't people heard it.
Come on, I dropped my music solo in YouTube and it's not gone viral yet. Why did mine not go viral? So that is what is happening.
Amazingly said. If you accountants, you're all going to be great accountants, tax managers, think about virality. There's nothing viral in tax. There's nothing viral in accounting unless you want to go for a value. There is this valuation thing that people are after. You run a startup, Zensible. Yeah. So, when they raise money, founders today, I have to get it to 1 billion valuation, 100 million valuation. That's just so it's an imagination, right? People are suffering from biased imagination. I think they're believing in these stories that they create themselves. Yeah. Isn't it sad? We didn't have that problem. I'm telling you the truth. We didn't have that problem, did we?
No, that is so. It is I was telling somebody who was sitting here and talking to me. It's a double-edged sword, right? We now have all the information we need.
Yeah.
If I want to go and find all the unicorns from India and what they did, what were their valuation, I can do it within a minute, right? But at the same time, once I look at it, all I'm going to get in my Instagram, in my Google search, in my Facebook, everywhere, it is only news about other unicorns, other valuations, other people raising money. That's all I'm going to get. So I am overloaded with information, even though I want that information. So
you don't make the right choice.
Availability and the over availability is what is you need to take care of. So the way to handle that is a good question. This is how it affects your mind.
Fatima, her name is Fatima.
Fatima, this is how it affects your mental health. You start doom scrolling, you get the same information, you are going into peer pressure, and you are in an echo chamber. All of this affects your mental health. So what you need to do is give yourself time limit. I will do social media for 15 minutes. 15 minutes is impossible. An hour in the morning. Okay. So I will do an hour, and then I'm not going to look at it. Switch off all notifications on your social media. If you have it on your phone, please switch it off. Right. This is what I do, and this is what I tell my son as well. If there is a ping, you want to take a look at it. So don't let that affect your thoughts. Be
Very
there.
Well said.
Okay. And don't do it before you go to bed. Do not do that.
This is brilliant, because guys, I'm going to ask so many beautiful questions. The key word you used would be thoughts.
Yeah.
Your thoughts are yours. Don't let information overload your thoughts, and you're lost in that process. So Deepthi again comes back and says, what are some of the steps there again? I mean, from social media perspective, how do you identify? The first step is turn off the notifications, right? That's one way. That's good for your mental health. What are the some other steps from a social media
for social media? That is the thing. You keep yourself, time boxed. Say this is, even if you are an influencer, okay? Keep yourself time boxed that this is how long I will look at. Okay, do not look at it first thing in the morning. Okay?
Yeah, which we all do. We carry it like newspapers. Like our parents did the newspapers. We carry it everywhere. So you agree, right?
Of course. When you wake up, the first thing you do is take your phones. Don't do that. Make a conscious effort not to do that. Okay. And before you go to bed, don't do that, because once you start scrolling and you're going to bed, that is what will be there in your mind, and that's all you will think about. So try and not do that. It's very difficult not to care about the numbers. Why is Vishal getting 20k likes and why am I getting 20?
Maybe likes? I paid Google. Maybe I advertise.
So that is it.
See, that's what they don't know. Maybe not. They don't know. So you know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
That's the mask, right?
Yeah. You boosted your post and now you have 20k. So don't go by numbers. Okay. And also, when you go on social media, have a agenda. Why am I on social media? Okay, do I want to? You could be there to keep up with your friends. What are my friends doing? Or you could be there to learn something or look at something. It could be even just mindless entertainment. It's fine. Or you could be on social media because you have something to say and you want other people to see it. Be honest with yourself on why you are on social media. Okay, never have the parameter that I want to be on social media because I want to get more likes or because I want to be more popular.
It's interesting. Is this mental health thing related to dopamine rush that they get? It's like sugar. Or anything,
I didn't want to go there because I didn't know whether they knew about the dopamine, serotonin and
you
everything.
Can talk about it.
So every time you get a like and it pings,
like ting.
It goes off and creates a dopamine hit in your brain. It's like ting. And then you want, the more you get it, the more you want it, right? And that is exactly the concept on which social media is based. So you need to be aware of that. If you want the dopamine hit, I will tell you something else. Create a to-do list and put a message there. Every time you finish one item in your to-do list and you tick it, you will get the same dopamine hit. Okay. So you can, if you want to wean yourself off of social media, but you have been on social media for really long, especially during exam time, what I would suggest is, I want to read 2 pages by 1 hour. Okay, and I want to do this, I want to write a question and see. Create a to-do list, keep on ticking that. You don't even have to have the ping. Every time you tick, you will get a dopamine hit.
It's funny, you said ting, right? The ting also, if you look at business people, they keep looking at their bank accounts or stocks, and cha-ching, cha-ching, cha-ching. It's a dollar value, right? Or rupee value. It's very interesting. All this is addictive. It's not our true natures, actually. That is the root of the mental health thing, right? Or why isn't this stock going up?
Yeah.
Why can't I buy it this cheap? Or, or why haven't I got this tax statement wrong? So you have to say that. That's the next question is exactly follow up to this. This is from Tejaswini. And I'm glad the women are asking questions. So happy today. Could you tell us that if meditation could help in recognizing ourselves at this point of time?
Yeah. So definitely, meditation is a great way to calm your brain and focus on what is going on in your mind and your body. Okay. I will be the first one to tell you, I am really bad at meditating. Okay.
Even me. Terrible. Terrible. I've tried it and failed so many times you won't believe it. In fact, meditation makes me violent. How's that? Really, that's the truth.
Okay. Did you meditate this morning?
No, I never.
Oh,
That was just 6 months ago, and I got scared, so I stopped. 15 days into meditation, I was like really angry, so I said, no, this is not me.
Yeah. So
But when I listen to music, I'm really calm.
Exactly. So whatever works for you, but since you have asked about meditation, and if you're trying for the first time how to meditate, there are multiple ways in which you can do it. Okay. The first one is, you have to know your mind is going to want to go in different directions.
Yeah.
So you need to tell yourself, I am going to let it wander, but every time I realize it's wandering, I'm not going to judge myself and be like, oh, why did my mind do this? That is why you got
That's why I got angry.
Yeah. So
Absolutely.
You got angry at yourself because you were like, I should be able to do this. Why am I not able to do this? So there is this story where a person goes to a doctor. He always keeps going to a doctor because he thinks that he has some problem in his body. Okay. The doctor finally gets really frustrated and he says, this is a medicine that will solve all of your ailments.
That's a classic story.
Yeah. You just should not think about monkey while you are drinking this.
This is wonderfly done. I'll tell you why. I have a follow-up question. That's super. Finish. I'll tell you.
So every time he drinks it, all he will then think about is only about the monkey, and therefore he will not go to the doctor. Our mind is like that. When you say don't think about anything, let go of everything in your mind, it will say no, I will think about something. I will keep wandering. So what you need to do is be kind to yourself. It will happen. It will not, every time you recognize that your mind is wandering, you just say, okay, I understand, but I'm going to get back. That is one thing.
So interesting.
The second thing is focus on your breath. Okay. Yeah. If you start counting your breath, then your mind is not focused on anything else. It's focused on counting your breath. Right? So it keeps that count. Either if you lose count because your mind is wandering, you start again. Okay. So that those are some of the ways in which you can start trying meditation. The other one that really works for me is, with every exhalation, I focus on one part and I consciously relax that part. Okay. Right? For example, I close my mind and then every exhalation I say, I am going to relax my foot. I'm going to relax my calf. I'm going to relax my knee. So I'm focused on noticing each part and relaxing that.
So the meditation mentors, they do this. They tell you focus on your body, on your neck first, on your chest, and then your knees and your feet and all that, right? They do that.
Yeah.
And that is for this particular reason?
It is for 2 reasons.
Yes.
One is your mind is focused on your body part and not trying to wander off in different direction.
Correct.
The second is, once you start doing that, you will notice which part of your body is carrying that tension, right?
Correct.
So you are looking inwards like you would have never looked.
So meditation helps.
Meditation does help, but be kind, don't be angry.
Be consistent. So it's interesting, the anger thing, right? I mean, one of the things is, also the fact that you were right, this doctor thing example that you gave, right? So you go to a psychologist who listens to you, takes care of you, who structures your thoughts, just like how you're helping me understand this. You don't take medicine for this. There are a lot of kids who will probably say, oh, this medicine. I mean, don't trust that, right? Just, that's too early in their lives to even take medicine for this, right? A lot of people in our age, or people who cross 30, will take medicine. I don't know why, if they have a problem. Is medicine recommended for mental health?
It depends
They
on
say to calm your mind. That's the scary part, isn't it?
It depends on the reason why somebody prescribes. You cannot take it yourself.
Yes.
Do not self-medicate at all.
Brilliant. So don't go to your Instagram, say this person's selling that, oh, this will calm your mind. Never.
Do not self-medicate. That is one thing. The second thing is, get the medication from a trusted person, like only a psychiatrist can give you medication. Psychologists, even clinical psychologists, cannot prescribe medication.
That's good. So guys, just remember, clinical psychologists also cannot prescribe medicine. It's a registered psychiatrist who can.
Yeah, only psychiatrists can give you prescribe medication, right? So there are certain conditions for which you have to have medication. If you have clinical depression, right? So sometimes they will give you medication if none of the others are working, because clinical depression can also be because of biological hormonal
you read my mind. So you need to take at that time.
So you need to take that. The other thing is, especially for young children, right?
Yes.
None of them are at that age, but young children who have, let's say, ADHD, right? They are given medication because it will help them manage. They are not strong enough to understand and manage their own symptoms. So they are given medication so that they can achieve the developmental milestones, which is more important. So there are reasons why medication is important, but get it only from trusted source. Figure out how long you need to take. Do not overtake what is prescribed, because once you stop the medication, there will be repercussions. It will take a little while for you to get back. So be mindful of that.
Okay, I want to take a moment to say, if you got this far, please like and subscribe. Comments, please. Again, I love the questions students across Karnataka are asking. If you're now watching it across India, please do ask questions, okay? Again, like, subscribe. I'm Vishal Krishna. This is Vedha Bharti from Zensible, Zensible. All right. I want to know these things. How tough is it to know now the medication for mental health? Should I take natural medication or pharma-based medication? Because pharma can also make natural, pharma can also make chemical. Is that something that people tell you? Is that a problem?
It is not a problem as long as it is given to you by a licensed professional.
Yes.
It is, you can take it.
Correct.
Okay. Just
Correct.
don't self-medicate. Whether it is natural or whether it is, allopathy.
Correct.
Be sure that trust and have done your due diligence research on whether this person actually has the recommended qualification to give you the medication before you take it. Okay?
That's well said.
I will not say don't take this medication, don't take that medication. Sometimes medication is necessary. Just make sure that you understand who is giving you and why they are giving you, how long they are giving you.
And the after effects, if you take it prolonged. Yeah, got it. Okay, let's move on to the questions. There's so many. Keep those questions coming. Love you people. Thank you so much. Roshan, is it? Okay, Roshan says, what are the steps to reduce anxiety? What are the steps to reduce anxiety? All of us suffer from it. I thought that as you get older with age, anxiety will go away because you're going to mature. But anxiety remains. And the challenges get worse as you get older. How do they handle anxiety? This is from Roshan. Anxiety when it comes to study and relationships. I don't know. He's cleverly put study and relationships, which is what I like, so that his parents know that he's also studying, but there's also relationships in this whole thing. It's okay to be in college.
Why does your mind go to relationship? It could be relationship with his parents that he's talking about.
Yeah, let's talk parents. Yeah. I'm just making fun of him because he's in college, right?
Yeah.
In college, for me, I don't have a relationship with mom and dad. That's the thing. You understand, right? Okay, but you know where I'm going. But you're right. I love my parents as well. I lost my mom, but just recently, but you're
Sorry
right.
to hear
That's I need mental health for that. That's been the hardest. What do you think? I mean, when I'm studying, obviously in my case, I told you what I do. Roshan saying that, how do you handle in case of pressures of studies and pressures of relationships? It could be multiple levels. You're right. Go on.
Okay. So one of the things is that increases your anxiety is when you have too many things as thoughts.
Yeah.
Okay. So when I am looking at right now, I'm looking. And there are two cameras,
Yes.
and I'm thinking, should I look at him or should I look at him?
Yeah. Or should we look at the third students?
Should I look at the laptop,
Yes.
right? So there are so many things that are happening around me, and that leads to me getting very anxious. What am I supposed to do? I don't know what I'm supposed to do. Okay, when I'm unclear, when I have too many stimuli, there is bound to be anxiety. For students, especially students right now, they have so many such stimuli. They have to study, they have to keep up with their social media.
They have to keep everyone happy.
Yeah, they have to keep up with their relationship, they have to keep up with multiple relationships. So there are a lot of anxiety. So the first thing when you're feeling really anxious is acknowledge, yes, I'm feeling anxious, and it's fine. I understand that. And then you write down or note down all the things that are you are anxious about. Let's say today you were anxious about, I need to submit an assignment day after tomorrow. I still have not done it. Okay, and my friends are asking me to go out today, and I have to go out. Otherwise, they will drop me from my group. And my mom is saying I have to come and wash all my clothes. Okay?
Yeah, come home by 6 o'clock.
Come home by 6 o'clock. So all of these multiple different things are causing you anxiety. So you note it down, and then you say, which one can I control?
Yes.
Okay. Can I tell my friends that, hey, I will come tomorrow? Is it possible? Okay. And can I tell my mom that, hey, instead of coming at 6 o'clock, I'll come at 7:30? Okay. Can I do a little bit of studying, like 10% of what is there? Can I study today? So note down whatever is causing you that anxiety and figure out which ones you can work on. Okay. In corporate world, they have this thing where it is important and urgent, important and not urgent.
They have codified all
They
that.
are codified. So if you are able to spend 5 minutes, you will think that I'm already anxious and this woman is making me do more stuff on top of this anxiety. But trust me, this will help you. If you can identify
what makes you anxious.
Is it important and urgent? Do you have to immediately work on it? Okay.
Yeah.
If you go out today, tomorrow is the exam. There is no way you can study.
Beautifully put, man. Beautifully put.
That is how you work on your anxiety. If you are not able to self-regulate and calm yourself down, talk to your friend. Dude, I am so anxious. There are so many things that are happening. What do I do? Okay. So put it to another person and then ask them to help you. They will be able to help you. Some trusted person.
Okay. I have a question for you, and I just want, because I have so many questions of anxiety now. I was at dinner the other day, and I want you to understand this. Okay, it's very intricate. I love animals, and all of us do. I'm sure I like animal lovers, but I get angry sometimes with animal lovers, and I don't know what to do because I have to be politically correct. So I hate it when that's anxiety to me, because this is a very important meeting and an important person to me, and that person came to me saying, I look at my dog as a person, and if anything happens to that person, I will make sure that I destroy everybody's life. And she had that anxiety that she had to protect that dog and protect it in such a way that it had to be dropped, it had to be taken in a lift, not even take the stairs, and therefore she treats it like a person. So in that case, the anxiety is, should I pass an opinion on that, because that would create friction. I decided that day that, like you said, I started making mental notes. In the old days, I would have probably reacted and it would have turned into a big fight. And so I said to myself, saying, this is not the conversation you're having. Or the common element is both of you love animals. This is a friend of mine, right? So I just decided that, okay, that's her thought. My thoughts are mine. Let me keep it to myself. Let her call the dog a person, although it's not. leave it at that. That's the best way to handle it? Or would you say that if it's not the right way to handle it?
No, that is absolutely a great way to handle it, right? If the source of the anxiety is another person, okay, you have to know that whatever they are saying is a reflection of them. And not a reflection of you, right? It might feel like if they are saying
it's offensive,
if your professor came and said you got zero, so it is a reflection,
of his attitude, not mine. Absolutely, well said.
It is a reflection on how I did, but the way he said it is a reflection of him. Okay, so
don't carry that forward.
You have to start trying to separate their actions from the reality and whether it is for them or on
correct
you. That's what
it's interesting. So I hope it answers your question, Roshan, that there are a lot of steps that a lot of it is do it yourself, but of course, like Vedha said, you can go to people. There are people who do it pro bono. I'm going to get her back to train some of you as well. Okay, so this is Shanta. I want to be a confident person. How do you train yourself to be a confident person mentally? And this is a question I get all the time. Even my wife, she's a doctor. She's a very good doctor, but a very bad customer relation. Everyone's marketing themselves today. So how do you be good at saying I'm confident in one thing, I'm very good at work. You may be good at technology, you may be good at the mental health piece, but how do you ensure that you're good at something and you get confidence in everything that you do? How do you do that?
Okay. So I want to address one part. How do you get confident in everything? I will never get confident in accounting and numbers. That is
absolutely. That's the first step, right? You say, I'm not good at this.
Exactly. Okay. So I'm not good at this. I don't want
I'd rather work with someone.
I would rather delegate it to somebody else because I don't think it is going to give me back the time and effort that I put in is not going to result back. Make sure that you identify what is your niche. Okay. If you want to be more confident, okay, let's take it can be more confident in talking or more confident in your exams. When you are writing your answers, I want to be more confident in my answers. It can be more confident when I go and talk to my parents and say I don't want to study this. So whatever is you want to be confident about, identify what it is and ask yourself, why do I want this? Okay. For example, I want to come and confidently talk in this podcast,
which we've done, and we didn't even know each other before this. We've just had people talking about both of us on WhatsApp. Right? You'd agree, right?
True.
But we've managed well so far.
The jury is out on that.
That's true. You're the jury, decide.
So when I wanted to come into this podcast, the first thing is before we sat down, I was really nervous. Okay? Yes. I always, whenever I'm talking to somebody new or whenever I'm going on a webinar, I am always nervous. When I go to a new place, I am extremely nervous.
We're also talking to strangers.
When I meet new people, I'm always nervous. That is actually because it's your body's way of preparing you for what is coming next. There is an optimal level of nervousness which is required, which will push you to prepare.
So nervousness is good.
Nervousness to a level.
You can conquer it.
It's in psychology.
It's also fear, right?
It's also that slight fear is good. For example, before you go to an exam, you always feel that fear.
That's this thing whether will I perform or not?
Yes. So you have to know whether your confidence is affected by that nervous energy that precedes anything new that you do.
Correct.
Or is that nervousness going beyond and making you withdraw from yourself?
Well said.
Okay,
really said.
That is the first thing. The second thing is, if you are feeling really nervous, for example, if I was very nervous coming and talking to Vishal. So, and I learned, I looked at some of his older webinars. What does he talk about? How does he talk?
What's the style?
Exactly.
Is he terrible?
You weren't, which made me more nervous, but we'll get there eventually. So prepare to see what, to make sure that your nervousness level goes down by preparing it for ahead of it. Then, if you are able to practice it, okay, for confidence, practice is the most important thing. You continue to I loved talking in front of the mirror, okay. You lock yourself in the bathroom and then you stand in front of the mirror and you practice.
It's funny, every leader who showed up on these podcasts have said we look at the mirror and speak. And we read a lot or we write. It's funny how these are connected.
Right? Because the more you practice, not only is it making you practice and you understand the concepts and everything, you're also training your mind that I was able to do it. I was able to do it. Your mind is like any other muscle, okay? So if you lift weights, the first day it's going to be difficult, the second day it's going to be difficult. Eventually your muscle will get the message.
It's called muscle memory.
Muscle memory.
Yes.
Your brain and your mind is also a muscle which you train.
It's interesting. It's interesting. So therefore reading, writing and speaking, they're all connected. It's muscle memory in there. And that's a good way to recognize your confidence levels. And that's great. And I hope it answers the question, Shanta. And let's move on to many more questions. Please tell us what are some of the effective strategies for maintaining good mental health. Effective strategies. Any three?
So I will tell you three of my effective strategies. The first thing is, in the morning when I wake up, I do exercise. You will think that exercise is for physical. Why is she talking about it for mental? No. When you exercise, you also have those hormones being secreted in your body, which helps your mind. Right? Therefore, light exercise every day sets you up for a great day. Okay. Whatever is your mode of exercise, yoga, walking,
gym,
strength,
weights.
Running, weights, whatever you like, do a little bit of body movement in the morning.
I just read last week that if you walk 30 minutes every day for 3 days or 4 days a week, it reduces dementia. That's mental health, isn't it?
Absolutely. You do Sudoku or a word puzzle, anything that will keep your mind active. Learn something new.
But that's not doom scrolling. Don't get confused. It's an activity that you're doing. That means you're solving something and you're keeping us. That's what you mean.
That is.
So these are the effective ways.
For them, learning and everything is already happening.
They're already stressed about that. I agree.
So I wouldn't now suggest that. That would be for you.
What would be their suggestion? What would be their recommendation?
Do some exercise every day. Okay.
Exercise.
And then set one small goal every day. Okay. Today, for example, Shanta asked, I want to be confident. Okay. Say I will confident if I have never been able to go and answer a question that a teacher asks. So set yourself, I will either get up and answer, or I will write down the answer. Okay, that itself, when they ask a question and I'm writing down the answer, even though I'm not saying it, that is a first step in gaining confidence. My answer was right. So set yourself small goals so that you understand that you are doing something. When you're not tracking your goals, when you're without a goal, you just go through the day. You're not sure what you have done that day. So having a small goal and making sure that you accomplish it will also again give you the dopamine.
Exercise,
have
keep
small
goals,
and have something to be thankful for each day. Think of something that you want to be thankful for each day. Listen
it could be walking to temple. It could be going to your music concert. Could be that. Anything. Fine.
Listen to music. Music has such calming effect, right? It doesn't matter whether you listen to calming music or whether you listen to punk rock. Whatever you like.
I'm glad you said punk rock.
Whatever.
Did it come out of your mind, or do you listen to punk rock?
I listen to punk.
You like the Clash?
I do.
You like the Clash. We'll talk about the Clash.
So
the Clash is here, but when you listen to the music of the Clash, I'm I'm telling you, it's something else.
When I'm calm, I actually listen to punk rock. And when my mind is really raging, I listen to melodious music.
Okay.
Because my mind then, attunes to the music's level, and that is why it
Very
works.
good.
But
Very
it
good.
works differently for different people. So do those small things, okay? And also talk to people, right? If you have not spoken to somebody physically for the whole day, that can have an effect on your mental health. So talk to somebody, have an intention
This is
to
so
talk to somebody.
good. So it's not just being in social media, create a social circle.
Yes.
It's very important.
Yes.
That's why people, I mean, today if you realize, back then families were a social life, then obviously these mobiles became a social life. But today people are going into, badminton clubs, tennis clubs, they also play these games, chess and all that, right? That's a club by itself. So it's important to have that.
Feeling part of a community
it's very
can have
very
a
human.
very good effect on your mental health. So these are some things that you can do every day
That's
to
interesting.
improve your mental health.
Okay, let's move on. More questions. This is from Sunil. Ma'am, how do you handle negative thoughts?
So that is a very good question. Like I said, it takes a little bit of time. One, the first thing that you can do is, if my friend came up, my dress is so bad, okay? So your friend comes and says to you that, oh my God, this dress is so bad. What would be your response to him or her, right? What would you say? So when you have negative thoughts, try to do the same thing to yourself. What would I say to my friend if he or she came up to me like this? Okay, so that is changing it. And then ask, so what if it was bad? What's the worst that could happen? I'm wearing it for one day, right? So what is the worst that could happen? So turn the question back to yourself, okay? And if there is an effect that I have really bad clothes, therefore the person that I wanted to impress is not going to be, Vishal is not going to be impressed with me, okay? So how can I change that, right? Is there a way I can change that? If there is a way you can change that, then act on it. If there is no way you can change that, then you understand, okay, there is no way I can change it, I'm just going to let it go. So what is there in your control, you try and do that. So that is how you tackle negative thoughts.
It's so well said. You only have power over your mind, not external things. Very well said. By the way, this is not my quote, it's from Marcus Aurelius. Read the book. It's called Meditations, right? Let's go on to the next question. It's from Jasmita. Goals. All students have been taught to focus on goals and achieve certain things. Are goals important? You said goals are important, daily goals are important. But aren't goals also robotic sometimes? I look at goals as achievable. If not achievable, it's okay, right? But goals are necessary.
Yes. See, like I said, goals help you track where you are going, whether you are going in the right direction, how far away from it you are. Every life needs some purpose, right?
I agree with that.
If you don't feel that purpose of what you are doing, that is when it affects you, right? If you feel like, you know what, I had a good day because I learned something. I had a good day because I came to this podcast and listened to some jokes that Vishal has done and that made me happy.
And living experiences and the fact that both of us like the Clash. We didn't really have a Clash, but we love the Clash. The Clash is a band, ladies and gentlemen. I'm not promoting the band, but they're good.
Yep. Right. So goals are really, really important. Okay. And the thing about goals is you need to make sure you can start with a big goal. Okay. I want to be a millionaire by 30.
Nowadays people say, I want to retire by 35. I want to retire by 44. I have had friends like that. But then what do they do?
44? That's
I don't know why the odd number.
Specific.
I've had people who say it. See, it's strange, isn't it?
Well, not the retiring part, but the 44 part is oddly specific.
So, I said it because I'm 44.
Oh, that makes sense. The friend was you.
The friend was again a lady, but poor thing. She said 40s, yes, but I said 44 because it's me. See the connections, how the mind works. But yes, why do people say that I want to retire early? I want to do everything by this age and then don't know what to do to that, go figure out life.
They'll figure it out. I mean, your friend may want to retire, and then they will figure out some other goal. So whatever big, even if your goal is really big, you break it down. So if you want to retire by 44, then by this time I want to have so much sorted out in my life. Okay, and then you work backwards for me to have so much sorted out. So you have to break down the bigger goals into smaller goals and have something actionable, something you can do. Be honest with yourself every day. So goals are very important. Definitely keep goals if you are already doing that.
Here's a funny thing, right? And you said goals are really important, but you used another word, honesty.
Yes.
You have to be honest towards yourself. The great American dream, the baby boomers, right? Like their parents, they thought they'd retire by 60 and then have a good life. But knowing whatever is happening in the geopolitics and in America, they have to continuously work now. I don't think there's a retirement age in America anymore, right? Like our parents here also. They worked in these great public sectors. They had these large mills, like you said, or, they all had a specific lifestyle. But that's changed. So nobody can really retire. You have to do something, and that can only happen with honesty and the goals that you set for yourself. Would you agree with what I've said so far?
Absolutely.
And I love this because she's using the right words, and I'll sum it up in the ending. But there's some more questions. IQ and intelligence. This is Tejaswini again. And she says everybody talks about IQ today, and they say if you're 114 plus, you're average. If you're 130 above, you're there in the top percentile or something of that sort. I like these tests, that people do these tests. It gives you a primer as to where you stand today. Maybe what are the steps you could do to increase it. But should I go and do that? Should I increase my IQ? I mean, what does it mean by increasing IQ?
Forget about what does it mean by increasing IQ. First of all, why do you want to do that?
Yes.
Right? Why do you want to test your IQ in the first place? That is very important. Okay. Do you feel that by testing your IQ, you will know where you are?
Yes.
If so, why do you want to know?
Yeah.
Okay, isn't there any other way?
Yeah.
Are you doing well in your studies? Are you doing well with your social circle? Are you engaging with them enough? If that is the case, then why do you want it to be tested? What is the need for it? Okay.
Correct.
So if there is a need, okay, for example, you are taking a very you're planning to take a very competitive professional exam, okay, or studying for CA. That in my mind is the most.
I'm sure all of them are studying CA. For sure.
So, by knowing your IQ level, is it going to change if you really want to study for CA? Knowing your IQ level, is it going to change that? Okay, if it is not going to change, I always want to do CA, and that irrespective of my IQ level, I want to do that. Okay, then the test is not going to change it. Okay, if you think that there is room for improvement, okay, you can still go ahead and do that without associating a score to it. Okay, this IQ test and scores are like your social media follower counts and your like counts, right? They are just numbers. They don't mean anything unless you associate a meaning to it. Okay, so if you have to do that, first figure it out for yourself why you are doing that, and then you can take the test.
That's great. So there's 3 levels of questions I want to ask you. I have 3 things to ask you. There's a taboo in mental health in India today. Going out and saying that you have a mental health issue, people think you've gone mad. That's true. There's this whole, I told you I'll bring the vulnerability factor. In corporations, in the best corporations, corporations that allow you to share your vulnerability and that shared experience actually grow faster. But there are cultures, I mean, in ours is such a vast country with different cultures. In certain cultures, I don't know, you come from Coimbatore, which is a very business town. Very different culture in that Coimbatore, Erode, Tirupur, Salem belt, in that industrial belt, versus a Bangalore culture, more middle class, IT kind of culture. And sharing a vulnerability, judgment versus taboo versus sharing vulnerability, how do kids manage this, saying, I have to understand culture, because they're firstly not taught what that culture, shared culture that they come, how they don't even know how to perceive it. And there's this hidden anger, like, because the measurements are, like you said, oh, I need to do the best in the test, I need to do the best in money, or I want to retire early. I mean, this whole competition is great, it fuels whatever's happening, but between all that there is this taboo of discussing who you are, the vulnerability, the judgments that you have to give. How do you handle each of these pieces?
So that is a really good question. The taboo, okay, it's better if we take an example, okay. Since they are all students,
yes,
and there is a lot of pressure that they have to do really, really well in the exam,
yeah,
okay, and that is causing a lot of anxiety in your brain.
Yes,
okay?
I agree.
I've given steps to try and do it yourself, but that is not helping. You are not able to convince yourself that you can do it.
Correct.
Okay, your mind is keeping on swirling, and you want to. If your parents or your family do not understand the concept of mental health,
correct,
right? That anxiety is something that happens to everyone, okay? And taking help for that is not, it actually helps you do better at school, okay? If they don't understand, then you start small, right?
Yeah.
Today there was so much for me and I'm not able to study because it's just not sitting in my head. So I'm going to take a break today.
Those 2 days that you said, 1 day,
2 day. Okay. So you don't have to immediately go to, I want to talk to a therapist, right? You don't want to go there because they will worry and they will think that, oh my God, my son or daughter is too soft, not
now
able
that becomes a mental stress on the parents.
Yeah.
Well
so
said,
if you don't think you will be able to convince them, you don't need to try and do that. You take small step that says, I'm going to take a break today, I will start back again tomorrow, okay? Or I'm not able to understand what is happening with me, so I'm going to talk to my teacher or I'm going to talk to my friends, okay? Start small like that. And on top of that, if you still want to go and talk to professionally somebody, okay, there are lots of options available. You don't have to tell them, or find one trusted person in the family and tell them, look, there is nothing to be worried about, but I am going to talk to them and I will come back and tell you what they say. Okay, you can tell them fully what the professional said, or you can tell some of what they said, whatever you want to share.
Correct.
Okay, so don't try and take on the role of changing them or changing their thought process and perspective in a go. Okay, that will put added pressure on you. That is one thing. Okay, so try and work around the taboo, again the area of influence. What you are able to influence, you try that. What you are not able to influence, you work around that.
Correct.
That is one thing. The second thing is, you go into a workplace and you are worried that if I say I'm too anxious or I'm too burnt out, I will be ostracized and I will not be given the salary hike or I will not be given the promotion. Okay, this is something that you need to understand from your circle. You know your organization better. If you think that this is the kind, maybe it is in your head. You are thinking that, oh, if I say that, they are going to think I'm not capable. Okay, so again, with your HR or with your manager or with your trusted team member, start small. Okay, I'm not able to handle able to do it by this time. Okay, see how they react to that. Rather than saying I'm burnt out, say I will not be able to finish this work in this time, I will need for 2 more days. Say how they react to that. That will tell you whether the organization is open to this sort of discussion. Start again small with them. If you don't think that they are going to be open to that, then the first thing is that may not be the right organization for you. Okay. The second thing is, if you're not able to move away from that, then try and see if they ask you for an estimate of when you are going to do. You start by saying, you know what, I can't do it in 2 days, I need a third day. Okay, see if you can slowly push back a little
Fantastic.
bit, okay? Or put for vacation and then take a break, step away from the problem, okay? Again, in both the taboo perspective and the vulnerability perspective, first of all, figure out whether it's actually real or whether you are thinking like that. Start small, see how the reaction is, and if it doesn't work out, see what you can change and influence, and see what you cannot change.
This is so nice. I'm glad these students have enjoyed it. And you know why? I like the way you portrayed this also, because you're one of the few people that I've met who has not talked about her company. You've just gone straight away to the heart of the subject and stayed true to it. Because most of them who come to the podcast are selling their company. I must really, truly say that I'm grateful for that, because it really was wholesome to them and wholesome to me as well. So now I want to talk about your company.
Yeah, now I'm thinking, I have not spoken about, am I supposed to speak about my company?
You can, that's why I'm saying, what does Zensible do? And we'll talk a bit of that, and then probably end that after that with your personal things, your family, the books that you read, movies, music. We'll talk about that. So what does Zensible do? Where is it? I know it's 1 year old into your journey. What do you intend to do with it?
So we are less than a year old.
Yes.
We are very young. We are creating a digital solution for therapists.
Yes.
Right? There is so many mental health apps that are available in the market that are directly given to people.
Correct.
And say self-help app, this app, try meditation
this
app.
content.
So we believe that there are sometimes you have to talk to a therapist, and therapists need tools. In India, there are no tools currently
for
that
therapists?
Private practitioners can use.
Yeah.
If you go to larger organizations, they may have their own internal tooling, but there are no tools that are available for private practitioners.
What do you mean by that?
So let's say, for example, you are my therapist,
Yes.
Vishal. Okay, I am your client.
I'm happy. Go on.
So I come to you. It's important as a therapist for you to listen to everything I say to build up that trust.
Correct.
But at the same time, every sentence that I say, you said that honesty. You said that be honest with yourself. So every word and sentence that I say and don't say and how I say it matters, right?
Correct.
So therapists do write notes.
They make notes. I've seen them make notes. Yes.
Yeah, therapists do make notes, but they are all notes that they have jotted down. You think that in a 1 hour long session, that's all they do, right? But before that 1 hour, they go and take a look at all the notes that they have written so that they can remember everything. I come to you next time, and if you don't remember that I had a fight
bad
with
treatment.
the trust is lost, right?
Yes.
So they take a look at all the notes and they prepare for the session. What more should I talk? What haven't the client still opened up about, right? So they spend at least 15 minutes before the session and at least 15 minutes after the session preparing the pre and post notes.
Correct.
Okay, and then they send out homeworks to clients for them to try it out. They wait for them to come back and tell them how it is going. So what we are trying to do is we are trying to reduce that time for them and make sure that all the history that is necessary for them is available in a single place. They can search it, they get summaries that are actionable just before the session. So instead of spending 15 plus 15, 30 minutes after an 1 hour session, we reduce it by 5 minutes. That way, they are able to decompress as well. They have sufficient time.
So they don't have to look at the notes. It's like a GPT kind of thing for them, where they have something. If I was your customer and you're my therapist, you'd now know a snapshot of what Vishal is.
Yes.
That's what you're helping them. So their notes are captured digitally. Yeah, okay. That's amazing.
And not only that, if there is Roshan or Tejaswini, somebody asked about confidence, right?
Correct.
So based on the conversation, we also suggest homework. Like go stand in front of the mirror and do that. Write down. So that homework is also suggested, and there is a step-by-step instructions that is automatically generated.
So you're fixing the mind in the process. So it's a wholesome for the therapist and therefore wholesome for the
clients
as well.
So
Okay.
it also tracks whether the progress is going
Yes.
correctly with this therapy
Yes.
plan, and it highlights only to the therapist
Yes.
that, hey, maybe you can try something else because the progress is not seen.
Fantastic.
So these help them give better therapy outcomes for the client. So
Okay.
that's what we are doing.
No,
I've spoken too much about
No,
Zensible.
I think no, you're
More.
not spoken too much about it. We can go into detail, and I really suggest, if those of you therapists in India, qualified ones, right? And that's important.
Yeah, that is very
That if you want to sharpen your practice, get into the digital side of things. Yeah, you can have your notes. Plus, you can have your notes into the platform or the tool, as Vedha calls it. And Zensible is the way forward. Okay, right. Thank you for that on the company. I want to end this podcast by asking 2-3 things on your family. How do you manage your mental health? That's the first question.
So, like I said,
Writing down, being pedantic
being
about it, yeah.
pedantically, managing my day.
Yes.
As a entrepreneur, I'm no longer
Yeah.
a young entrepreneur. I shouldn't say that.
Yes.
Young in the sense, this is my first entrepreneurial
Yes.
journey, right? So it can be very lonely.
Yeah.
So being honest with myself, making those plans, and then if I don't hit those plans, knowing why I was not able to hit them and letting that go, that is very important.
Oh, yeah.
And every day, almost in a week, at least 4 to 5 times I will work out. That is my start of the day. I will have to work out. The days I work out, I can clearly see the day goes better for me, mentally, physically, everything. And I always listen to music. I work.
Music is your therapy.
It is my therapy. I listen to music, all kinds of music.
Yeah.
I listen to music.
Correct.
And I spend time with my family. I have an 18-year-old son.
Wow.
I have a almost 50-year-old
Wow.
husband. So
Wow.
we don't spend the entire day talking.
That's
It's,
so
it's no
nice.
longer possible. But in the morning when we wake up, we have coffee together.
Right.
We talk about what's going to happen in the day.
Right.
We are not on the phones at that time.
So
Definitely.
that's so important. So be wholesome with your family is a good thing.
Yeah, even if it is for 5 minutes, 10
Yes.
minutes, keep that time.
Without
okay?
anything else.
Without anything else. So for us, that is the time. And every day when we go to sleep, even though my son is 18-year-old, we still hug, say good night, and then he goes
Wow.
to bed. So that physical touch of
Yes, I
hugging
agree.
is also so important for mental health.
Yeah.
So that's
That's how you unwind. And you said you listen to all kinds of any recommendations of books or music that you're listening to now?
Books, I have to be honest, I am a fiction freak.
Okay. Anything that you recommend, past, present?
My favorite is Hunger Games.
Okay.
Harry Potter was my
Okay.
favorite, but
Okay.
Hunger Games.
Got it.
But right now, I'm reading this book called Sword of Kaizen.
Yeah.
It's such an amazing book. If you are a martial arts fan, you would definitely love this book. But what's more interesting is the interaction of the families who are doing those martial
Okay.
arts and how they misunderstand each other.
It's a Japanese thing?
It is a Japanese
Novel? Set in Japan?
It is. They
Oh,
don't
it's-
say it is set in Japan. It's
I
in
got
a
it.
fictional world that
Yes,
is
I
based
got it.
on Japan.
I got it. So is it one of those Game of Thrones type of things, or different?
It's not as intense as
yes.
Game of Thrones.
It's easy reading.
It is easy reading.
But set in a fictional world, does it have a lot of technology involved in it also?
They
There
do
is.
have. So that is so interesting. It is kind of modulated on Japan, which means that they have technology advancement, but there are parts of the world
Yeah.
which are so rooted in tradition. They have access to technology, but they are still very
Yeah,
traditional.
much like our cultures.
Yeah.
Right?
It is.
And it's called the Sword of Kaizen.
Sword of Kaizen.
Kajan, how do you say?
I think it's
Okay, I'm going to
pronounced as
I'm going to put that in the link
Yes.
for sure.
Yeah.
So that's how you're a fiction reader. You like Harry Potter,
Yeah.
and you like Hunger Games.
Uh-huh.
Musically, what do you like?
Musically, I like everything.
Ilaiyaraaja.
I like Ilaiyaraaja, A.R. Rahman. I like Bollywood,
Yes.
old,
Kishore Kumar and all of that.
yeah. And I listen to a lot of punk rock, like I said.
Yes.
English music, Bruno Mars is
Oh,
my
okay.
all-time favorite. He's not a punk rock
But you
person,
know, he can play the guitar. He
Yes.
can play it. So, unfortunately, he's forced into doing pop. Yeah.
So I love some of his songs, lyrics. They
Right.
are so good.
I think the kids are listening to one song. What is that? APT.
Oh, okay, that
Yeah.
is. Yeah,
That's what the kids like, right? He sang that, didn't he?
Yes, he did.
Okay.
He did.
I'm sure they know what I'm talking about. So those are the recommendations. And guys, again, like, share, subscribe. Mental health is very important. Veda has actually given you a guidebook. I mean, this 90-minute podcast, obviously when we do the shorts, it's like a mental health guidebook on the do's, mostly the do's, not the don'ts. Actually, the only don'ts were don't go take medicine without going to a proper registered clinical psychologist, right? Or
And, don't-
psychiatrist.
Yes,
or pardon me,
psychiatrist.
it's a
And
clinical
don't wake up
psychiatrist.
with your phone in your face.
Yeah,
So-
don't take your phone everywhere, which is a mistake that even I make all the time. It's like you're more in love with the phone than the spouse or whatever. That's a problem in today's society, and we all apologize for it. On top of all this, the summation is this: mental health, we cannot escape it. Yes, for cultural reasons, for also reasons of being in peer pressure that you don't want to share that you're vulnerable, but that's okay. Make notes if that makes you happy. Jot down points in your head if that makes you happy. Go listen to music. The key thing is positivity. The key thing is not taking yourself too seriously. And if anything, I'm going to have her back to do workshops on mental health, right? She can bring in some of the best therapists and they can come help you. We'll probably come to your town. There is so much that I want to talk about. I can go on for another 1 hour. We could talk about punk rock and psychological health as well, right? But this has been a pleasure. I don't know what else to say. All I can say is follow Zensible. She's on LinkedIn. Vedha is on LinkedIn. Follow Mentors for Kids. Ensure that you take care of your mental health. Be happy. Don't let yourself down. Just like I scored 0, I turned out okay. Doesn't really matter. So
yeah, and you are going to retire by 44, so.
I've actually crossed it and unfortunately run out of money. But anyway, that's the whole aspect of it. The fact is we are here and we continue the good work and you continue your good work with this startup. Thank you so much.
I had a lot of fun. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. And listen to The Clash. If you haven't heard them, please listen. Thank you guys. Bye.